Even Simon smiled. 11-year-old from Cebu shocks AGT with his legendary voice mic collision. When the lights dimmed inside the packed America's Got Talent studio, an ocean of murmurs faded into silence. A small boy stood center stage, barefoot, nervous, and clutching a microphone almost too big for his tiny hands. His name was Miko Reyes, an 11-year-old from Cebu, Philippines. He had flown across the ocean with nothing but a second-hand guitar, his mother's prayers, and a dream too big for his fragile frame. The crowd didn't know what to expect. After all, he was just a little kid with shy eyes and a voice barely heard above the whispers. But what they didn't know was that Miko carried a story far greater than his song, a story of loss, love, and the unbreakable power of hope. Back home in Cebu, life was simple, but never easy. Miko lived in a small bamboo house by the shore, where the sound of the waves was louder than the hum of the city. His father, a fisherman, had gone missing during a storm 2 years ago, leaving Miko and his mother to fend for themselves. Each dawn, his mother would sell fish at the market while Miko sang on the streets for coins, his voice echoing between alleys, soft and pure. He didn't sing for fame, he sang because it made his mother smile. "Your voice," she would say, "is the only light this world can't drown." When a local teacher filmed him singing an old Elvis song and posted it online, no one expected it to go viral. Within days, millions had watched the barefoot boy from Cebu belt out a voice that didn't seem human, rich, soulful, filled with pain and hope. That video reached the producers of America's Got Talent, and before Miko could understand what was happening, he and his mother were on a plane to Los Angeles, trembling with disbelief. It was their first time leaving the island, their first time seeing a city so bright it looked like heaven had spilled its stars on earth. Now, standing under the blinding AGT lights, Miko felt his heart pounding against his ribs. The judges, Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Howie Mandel, and Heidi Klum, looked at him expectantly. Simon leaned forward and asked gently, "What will you be singing for us today, young man?" Miko swallowed hard and whispered, "A song for my papa." The music started, soft piano chords filling the air. Then Miko began to sing. His voice, fragile at first, grew stronger with every note. It wasn't just sound, it was soul. His voice trembled with grief, soared with love, and carried the weight of every dream a child had ever whispered into the dark. The audience leaned forward, eyes glistening. Even Simon, known for his cold critiques, crossed his arms and nodded slowly, as if trying to hide a smile tugging at his lips. Halfway through the song, Miko closed his eyes. In that moment, he wasn't on a stage anymore. He was back in Cebu, singing to the ocean, calling out to his father. He sang through tears, his voice cracking but never breaking. When he hit the final note, silence filled the room, heavy, sacred. Then came the explosion of applause, screams, and tears. Sophia wiped her eyes. "You're 11, she asked, her voice trembling. That was the soul of a grown man who's lived 1,000 lives. Heidi was crying too, her hand over her heart. Howie stood up and said, "You didn't just sing. You healed us." But it was Simon who spoke last. He leaned into the mic, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "Miko," he said, "I've seen hundreds of singers on this stage, but very few who make me feel something real. And tonight, you did that. You reminded me why this show exists." Then, for the first time in years, Simon Cowell smiled, a genuine, glowing smile that lit up the room. The crowd erupted, chanting Miko's name. His mother, crying backstage, covered her mouth as all 4 judges rose to their feet. And when Simon pressed that golden button, the confetti burst like fireworks. Miko fell to his knees, clutching his microphone, whispering, "For you, Papa." Later, in the interview room, a reporter asked Miko what he would do with his new fame. He smiled shyly and said, "I just want to build a little school in Cebu. So every kid who has a voice can find it." His mother hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. In that moment, it wasn't about winning or losing. It was about how one small boy from an island could touch millions of hearts around the world, with nothing but truth in his song. Weeks later, the video of his performance reached over 200 million views. Letters poured in from people in hospitals, war zones, and shelters, each one saying how Miko's voice gave them strength to keep going. A soldier wrote, "Your song reminded me what I'm fighting for." A mother wrote, "My son can't speak, but he listens to you every night and smiles." And back home in Cebu, under the same stars his father once fished beneath, Miko sang again, this time for a crowd of children gathered around him, their faces glowing in the moonlight. He didn't need the lights of Hollywood anymore. He had found what he was looking for, the power to heal hearts through music. Because sometimes, even the smallest voices can shake the world. And that night, when even Simon smiled, the world listened.